Hi everyone. So, a few have asked me to go through blocking. So, I apologise for the slightly strange view. To prevent holes in the wall, I had to put a cushion down. So, blocking your squares for this is going to be quite important because it'll help them stretch a bit into the right sizes that you need. Some of them will need to be stretched a little bit just to get them to the dimensions you need. And it also helps bring out the stitch definition. So they will look so much better with a bit of block. So I'm just using this square. It's actually just the bottom of one of those collapsible fabric storage boxes. So it's basically just a fabric piece of card. And to make life a bit easier, so I'm not always getting the tape measure out, I've just drawn on the size of my squares. So all I've got to do is pin the squares to the lines. So your square needs to be damp, not soaking wet, it's just damp through water. And you'll need a box of pins. There are other ways to block. Steam blocking can be done, but I prefer this. If you're using acrylic, I would steam block because you could actually melt your yarn. So I prefer the pinning out method. So this is what I do for every single one of my squares. So I start with the four corners. So I just put a pin into each corner first. You don't need to do something like this. You can also pin onto a carpet, mattress, those foam play mats for kids, a yoga mat, anything that's firm enough to be able to keep the pins in place, because you might be pulling on it a bit, so something that can withstand a bit of roughness is advisable. And before you get excited, I am not entirely sure that this square is going to end up in the blanket yet. It's one of those that I'm questioning. So this one's already on the okay measurement size, so it doesn't need much stretching at all. But once I got into the four corners, and then just go to the halves, I prefer to split my stitches, because otherwise it can stretch the holes instead of the entire thing. You can end up with some stretched holes, so I go through stitches. I know not everyone does that. That's what I prefer to do. And you kind of just make sure it's all kind of stretched nicely into place. Sometimes you might need to pin, unpin, repin again if you find that the middle bits have gone a bit wonky. That can happen. As you're crocheting, things can get a bit. So let me see if I can get a bit more light in there. Maybe not. There we go. So yeah, don't be afraid to unpin, have a bit of a stretch. Yeah, because when you're crocheting, gravity kind of takes hold and you end up, without realizing it, stretching it in all kind of strange ways. And blocking just helps get rid of that. So you just put in enough pins and stretch it until it's nicely in shape. And then you just leave it to dry. It's really as simple as that. There's not much else to it. It can be a pain sometimes. Some of the squares have been quite awkward. But this one's fairly simple. There's no rule to how many pins you need. You just put in as many pins as you think your particular square needs to keep shape. But I tend to put in at least 4 on each side, just to make sure. Putting the lines on has definitely saved me a ton of time rather than having to keep the getting the tape measure out to make sure it's all straight and in place where I want it to be. So the amount of squares we're doing, I definitely recommend that. And there we go. And I think that's all this one needs. It's all fairly even there. Now I'm just going to leave that to dry, and it will dry like that, and it will then keep that shape with lovely stitch definition. Simple as that. One nicely blocked square. So I hope you found that useful, and but as always, any questions, just comment below and I will get back to you. So bye for now.